So where does TC Cummings come in?
Yeah, so TC is kind of like a performance coach. You could call him many things, but former Navy SEAL. He's a guy that I talk to once a week now, and guy that I met at like a little goalie development camp that we used to do in Pittsburgh through my old coach Mike Buckley, and just a guy who is really an invaluable resource. You can't really put into words how much value you can get from a guy like that. One, just somebody that you can talk to, but also somebody to share their wisdom and share their experiences, and somebody to relate to you. And I'm not gonna get into too much detail about it, but he's a guy that has done wonders for me, in hockey, but also, and more importantly, just as a person, and helping me, find and discover and work my way towards being exactly who I want or hope to be. He's just a guy that's also been very, very influential in my life, especially in the last few years.
I talking about like becoming the man you want to be.
Yeah, I'm not going to get too deep into that, but yeah, we can talk about it a little bit.
I know there's like an underlying message that I think a lot of people can learn from. Like to basically paint the story, you recommended TC to me, and some of the things that you had told me previous to meeting TC, I kind of like scratched my head at thinking, I don't quite get that. But after working with TC and being put in a position where, hey, you step on your crank hard enough, you're gonna have no choice but to learn. Oh, okay, this kind of makes sense. I get it now. Okay, like for example, like having enough respect for yourself to say, okay, I will tolerate certain things, I won't tolerate other things, and how can I put myself in a position for a win-win-win of everybody? Because if I'm winning, you're winning, and if me and you are winning, everybody wins. Like, can you maybe elaborate just a little bit more? We don't have to get into specifics with TC. Mm-hmm. So I know there's some things you want to
I just think it's important for everybody to have a person like that in their lives. Especially for me, once I had kids, and when I lost my dad, I all of a sudden became, the patriarch of the family, so to speak. With that becomes a lot of responsibility that maybe I wasn't ready for at the time. That TC certainly helped me out with a lot. I think, you just want to be, once you have kids, everything changes. So you want to be the best version of yourself for them, right? And for your wife and for your family. Because if you're not, it starts to affect other people as well. And so that was my main, my main motivator in reaching out to him. And like I said, I worked with him long before that as well. But he's been very influential for me in these most recent years, especially. Mostly in stuff that has nothing to do with hockey, just stuff to do with being a dad or being a husband or being a family guy, and just finding exactly what it is that I want myself to look like the ideal version of myself, and working my way towards that. And it's never perfect. But he's been, for sure a massive influence for me in that regard.
Part of that is being respect worthy.
Yeah, I don't really want to get into these specifics of my personal stuff with him, but it's just the overarching message is finding exactly who you want to be, and making sure that you take dead aim at that. And you're always gonna falter because you're human, but having a guy to keep you on track and keep you looking in the right direction, and sharing some wisdom along the way, and a guy that you can relate to, because for some of us it can be hard to find somebody to relate to, or somebody to talk to, where you don't feel like you're complaining, but you're just you're just trying to share wisdom with each other, and trying to solve big problems. And just an invaluable resource, like I said, and one that I wish especially a young man, to have.
I got a question for you. I heard this on Jordan Binnington talk about this on a podcast maybe like 2 weeks ago, He was talking about one of the big things that changed when he came to the National League and he started seeing some success was his approach to training, in the sense of, like, when you're playing junior, or you're playing the American League, maybe you're a little bit constrained by finances. Like, if you're only making like 50, 60,000, whatever, or even that, like, training's expensive, ice is expensive, right? All that type of stuff. Has that, like, changed your philosophy towards training now?
The financial part of it?
Yeah, like is there anything specific in the training that has changed since having a little bit of that financial freedom from playing in the NHL for a while?
Yeah, just I think the quality of the food that you're able to buy, it's kind of ass backwards in today's world, where like the best food is the most expensive, and the most natural food is the most expensive. The cheap stuff is the stuff that's the worst for you. So really, it just the financial part of it, you get access to more. I would say you get access to more recovery modalities. So you can buy, like I said, a Normatex, the Normatec boots, or you can get yourself a cold plunge tub, or things that maybe, especially coming from Thunder Bay, there's not a ton of resources like that up there necessarily. If you live in Toronto, that's a different story. You can go to like a public rehab, recovery clinic, or they have all kinds of stuff down here. But for me, I never even had like treatment of any kind until I was in junior. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing, that you get like massage, or you get like ART, or you get any type of acupuncture or anything like that. So I never had any treatment, and I had no regular treatment until I turned pro. I thought it was just like you do it once in a while, because it was just not something that I was exposed to growing up. So I would just say, to answer your question, I just think that as you become a pro, maybe you make a couple bucks, you just get more access to different modalities and better quality food. If you want, you can hire a chef and get you like some real high quality stuff, cook you some real high quality meals, save you some time as well, so you have time to spend with your family. So yeah, like everything, it just gains you a little bit more access, I would say.
You got a chef?
I had a chef briefly last year, Andy Muto. Shout out to Andy Muto. He's a popular chef here in Toronto. He works with a lot of the hockey guys. A good friend of mine. I used his services a little bit last year. Not full time or anything like that, but with 2 young kids at home and a pretty busy, hectic schedule. He was cooking some meals for me for a while, and he's amazing. I'm sure a lot of guys watching may know Andy. So shout out to Andy Muto. He's one of the best.
Here's another really good one for you. So you got 2 rings. You've been very financially successful. You've accomplished a lot in your career as a professional. Like, what gets you out of bed in the morning?
I just think the challenge. I love a challenge, like in all aspects, and I don't think there's a bigger challenge than playing goal in the NHL. I think it's one of the hardest positions in sports. It's probably one of the hardest jobs, just in terms of its complexity and its difficulty. So I would say that at this point in my career, I just really, really enjoy a challenge. I enjoy being a part of something bigger than myself. I really enjoy being here in Toronto. Being here in Toronto really motivates me. You get to a certain point where, and money was never really a motivating factor, I wouldn't say. Winning the Stanley Cup was, for sure. Just being a part of something bigger than yourself, being a part of a group that climbs to the mountaintop. Like, there's not many better feelings than that. It was a great sense of accomplishment. But once you have it, you need something that every day is going to be there. Not every day is a Stanley Cup final Game 7. So you need to love what you do, and you need to love the challenge of it. You need to love the ritual of it. You need to love the work itself. And so that's honestly what keeps me going at this point. Is I love the work itself. I love a challenge. I love pushing myself to try to find my limits. Otherwise, I feel a little bit worthless if I'm not pushing to my very limits. I start to feel a bit worthless. And like I said, just being part of a group that's all pushing towards the same goal. There's something very like poetic and very, very fulfilling about that.
Hey, if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button. We do a new podcast every single Sunday during the season called Sling the Biscuit. It is a non-mainstream hockey podcast, so we talk about my hockey career, the minor pros, Spain, the Fed, you name it, all the stuff that you won't hear in the mainstream news.
Music,
Pop culture.
politics, a little bit.
Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you soon.